The first question that we had is can I call batch apex from the batch apex or not? Can I call batch apex from the batch apex or not? What is the answer for that? Okay, we cannot call batch apex from the batch apex. Okay, if you want to call the batch apex from the batch apex, from the finish method we have to call it. Why finish method? After completion of all the executes only finish will come. So if you want to call a batch apex from a batch apex, it should be called from finish method. Okay. Next, can I call? Look at the story. These points are missed out for you. Can I call future from the future? Can I call future from the Qubul, from the schedule, from the batch? Can I call Q from the future? Qubul, yes. Schedule, batch. Schedule. Can I call a future method within the Qubul? From Q I cannot call. But future can be called from anywhere. From Qubul I can call anything. From schedule I can call. From batch, future method no. Qubul method no. Schedule method no. This is so. So we had only problem with the batch and future. Rest all the cases, Qubul and schedulable, I can call anything from anywhere. From Qubul I can call future, Qubul, schedulable, batch. From batch I can call only batch. They're also from where? From finish method. From batch I can call batch from finish method. From batch I can call batch from finish method. From batch I can call batch from the finish method. Is that was clear for everyone? Right. Now, in the batch apex, if the start method fail, what will happen? Entire operation will fail. If execute method fail, only that execute will fail. If finish method fails, only finish method will fail. Right? If start method fail, entire operation will fail. If execute method fail, only that execute will fail. If the finish method fail, only the finish method will fail. Okay. Now, how to transfer the data from one batch to another batch, one execute to another execute? How to transfer the data from? How to transfer the data from? How to transfer the data from one execute to another execute? Data from one execute to another execute. How do you transfer? You already discussed that point. How do you transfer? Database dot stateful. Okay. Database dot stateful. Now, okay. Next one. In the database dot stateful, which data will be transferred? Which data will be transferred? Okay. Which data will be transferred? How the data will be? Which data will be transferred? You have done the state execution of this method. Right. Non-static data will be transferred. Static data will not be transferred. When you implement a database dot stateful, only non-static data will be transferred. Static data will not be transferred. Can I execute a batch Apex and schedule Apex together in a single class? Why not? If a class implements database dot batchable, it becomes a batch Apex. If the class implements stateful, okay, schedulable, it becomes a schedule Apex. Can't a class implement more than one interface? Can a class implement more than one interface? 100%. A class can implement more than one interface. So if a class implements both the interface, yes, it can implement it. So schedule Apex and batch Apex can be defined within a single Apex class. If a class implements database.batchable, it is a batch Apex. If a class implements schedulable, it is a schedule Apex. A class can implement more than one interface. A class can implement more than one interface. So a class can, within a single class, we can define batch Apex and schedule Apex. I hope you got the story. Right, Emma? Okay. Something like this. Then because the class implemented batchable, this is how we give. This is for only because you implemented database.batch. Schedulable. Right? Now, a class can implement both batch Apex and schedule Apex. 100%. Both can implement batch Apex and schedule Apex. Now, if I am executing like this, This is one way. What is the other way? Right, Amma. System dot schedule testing cron. If you call like this, schedule apex. If you call like above, batch apex. A class can run like batch apex and schedule apex. Why? Class can implement more than one interface. As the class can implement more than one interface, I can choose the above one or below one. Right, Amma? It's not a batch apex, no. It is schedule apex. When you call system dot schedule, which method will run? Okay, global void execute, schedulable context will run. When you say schedulable context, okay, when you say schedule, it's not going to run all the method. It's going to run only execute schedulable context. Obviously, you create a, now you want to schedule it. Write this code here. When you run system.schedule, what happened? This will be called. Within this, what logic is running? 90% will be like this only. 90% batch apex will be called within the schedule apex because they are long running jobs. Generally, we schedule the night times. So, can I call a batch apex within the schedule apex? 100%. Right, Amma? Clear for everyone? Okay. So, come. Okay. These points we didn't discuss in the session at the time of discussing the batch apex. Now, let's move on. We'll be moving to our scripting concept. In the last session, we had a basic idea about how to write a JavaScript, how to invoke it. Now we will see how asynchronous operations will run. Still, the course is not completed, boss. Once the topics are completed, I'll start the project. Still, topics are pending. After completion of topics, I'll be starting the project. Right. Now, let us move on to the story. Now, listen carefully. This is what we got. Basic primitive example. Okay. Or else I'll make it more interesting. Let me make the same story. Okay. First, let us see this example. I'll try to make it more interesting. Okay. Public list of select option. Public list of Let me put up account with the corresponding contacts. Now I'm giving public map of then I'm giving here list of string. Listen to the point. Basically, I was trying to create field dependency. To make it clear for you, to show the clear differences we're showing. This is how we got it. I'm putting the data in the map. ACC map dot put. This is how I kept it. Then what we do first, now look at the code. What was my intention here in this case? I just create a map with a account name as a key and a list of contacts as a value. Now Wipro one is what? AA1, AA2, AA3. TCS 2, BBV1, BBV2, BBV3. So account name with a list of contacts. How do you get the keys? Key set. There's a key set. What we get? Then set of string. Take one by one key. Okay, option. So select. Select option. This is how we got it. Basically, what did I add? None option I have added. Add none option 2. Take for select option. Select option. So all this story is creating what? Pick list option. Basically, as I don't have a data, I was creating manually. If I remove this code, what is your code? You created two pick list options, added the none to it. In the accounts, we added a group of accounts. Am I right? If I remove above code, what is the story here? Two pick list. Select option 1, select option 2. Added the none, both the cases. We have none and none. Third one, what is the third one we have? What is the third one we have? Add, take one by one account name, take one by one account name, create the option, add it to the accounts. This was my story. This was my story. Okay. Till here, I will show the output first. Then we will discuss about the remaining part of the story. The blog section. Fix value accounts. By now, all of you know what this story is all about, right? Creation of pick list, creation of page blog section. Have so have a preview. This is what we got. When I select Wipro, corresponding contact has to come. When I select TCS, now all our actions are what? Till now we created buttons. We created buttons and told click on the button, action is invoked. Now I don't want to click on the button. I don't want to click on the button. I don't want to click on the button. So without clicking the button, how you invoke? We invoke by using action support. Let me show you that. What was that action support? Look at this. Within this pick list, any change occurs, invoke Apex class method. Generally, on change, what will happen? On change, what will happen? JavaScript function will be called. Am I right? On change, on click, on focus, on blur, what I will be able to call? JavaScript function. But what I want, whenever the event occurs, I want to call the method from the Apex class. Whenever the event occurs, I want to call the method from the Apex class. Whenever the event occurs, I want to call the method from the Apex class. Whenever the event occurs, I want to call the method. Now, generally when the event occurs, it is going to call a JavaScript function, but I don't want to call the JavaScript function. Whenever the event occurs, I want to call the Apex class method. So how it is possible? Again, I repeat, when the event occurs, it is going to call a JavaScript, but I don't want to call a JavaScript. I want to call a method from the Apex class. How this is possible? Look at the story I'm giving. Apex action support event. Whenever the event occurs, call on change action. Now, what was that? Whenever the event call on change occurs, we are going to render the action called. We are going to invoke a method called call. Now, what is that? When event occurs, don't call JavaScript, call Apex class method. Now, how do I know in which element the event is occurring? Action support should be defined within the element. Now, if you want to define a event for a select list, define within the select list. If you want to define an event for input text, Apex input text, within the Apex input text you write it. So action support is defined within the element. Now, if you want to handle action support, on change, right? So for whichever the element you want to handle the event, within that element I have to write action support. In whichever the element I want to handle the action, within that element I have to write it. So action support is defined within the element. So what is the purpose? Generally, when an event occurs, JavaScript will be called, but I don't want the JavaScript to be called. I want an Apex class method to be called. Then I'm going for action support. Where is that action support defined? Within the element. Where is that action support defined? Within the element. Where is that action support defined? Within the element. Are you getting my point here? Okay. So go back to the story. Call me. First, what I have to do? Contact should not clear. Remove all the options. Then we are supposed to take. So how do you get it? What is the map name? Get the contacts of account select. In the map, if I give the key, we are going to get the value. Once you get the value, then this process should happen. If selected is not equal to, if it is not equal to none, then I want to. If it is none, there is no need to write a logic. Simply remove all the old values, put none value. Already I have done here, right? If it is none, what happened? First I removed everything, added the none option. Then if it is none, no more values will be there. If it is not equal to none, get the values. Go back to the story. Move to the story. right? Based on the value. Are you getting my point? Field dependency. Previously, what we used to do, we used to create a button there, select the option, click on the button, it is to invoke. Now this is not a button. When any change occurs, I want to call a action. When a change occurs, I want to call an action, like a field dependency. Whenever the value of the field is changed, automatically I want the corresponding action to be modified. Is that was clear for everyone? Now, what is the purpose of action support? Tell me. Whenever any event occurs on the component, if you want to invoke any Apex class method, then we go for action support. Generally, when the event occurs, we are going to call. Generally, when the event occurs, we are going to call JavaScript. But in our case, when the event occurs, we don't want to call a JavaScript. We want to call a Apex class method. We want to call an Apex class method. When you want to call an Apex class method, then we are supposed to define action support. In whichever the element event occurs, the action support has to be called. Okay, within that element, I have to define action support on the element when event occurs. If you want to call any Apex class method, then I have to define action support within the element. What is the drawback? For every element separately, I have to define action support. Action support is only with respect to one element. It is not related to all the things. So action support is with respect to one element. There is a reason. What happened? Whenever an event occurs on the element, we want to call Apex class method, I have to go with action support. Action support should be defined separately for every element. To avoid this, we have a next concept. The drawback is action support is specific to one element. If I want action support to be applied for 10 elements, 10 different times I have to write it. But advantage, you got it. When the event occurs, directly we can call Apex class method. Drawback is it should be defined separately for every element. So to overcome this, we are going for a next concept called action function. What is the next topic we had? Action function. Next, we are going to learn action function. So let us learn about this concept here. What is an action function and how you define it? Now, listen to the context. Same story, slightly I will modify it. Let me give the story here. Right. Let us move on to the Ajax. Now, let us take the story. So let us move on to the story. You don't even read this. Try to get the story. The same story what I created here, I was doing here. Only thing is, VF page I removed. No problem. Basically, look at the structure. First, let us see the view. This is my story. Now, what is my intention here? When event occurs, input text on change JavaScript. On change JavaScript. Now, what I want, when event occurs, calling a JavaScript. When event occurs, calling a JavaScript. Try to get the story. The difference between the previous example and this example. Okay. Now move on to the story. Then what I'm giving here. Page block section. Page block section. This is how we get took. Name and city. Of taking name and city, my intention is if the value of name and city both are entered, then I want to call Apex class method. Now previously what happened, when the event occurred, directly I call the method from Apex class. Now I'm saying don't call the Apex method directly. I have to verify the logic. I have to check the validation. I want to run some validation rule. After the validation rules are true, then I want to call Apex class. So you are trying to call a Apex class method from where? JavaScript. You are trying to call an Apex class method from where? JavaScript. So let us see here how you invoke a Apex class method from JavaScript. We have Apex action. Name of this action function, fun. When you call the fun, What is happening? What is the name of the method we had? This is how I give. First, let me look at the story. If the values are entered, now we want to call if name is not equal to blank. So I give. So if the name and city values are entered, then I'm calling a function called fun. Now what is this action function? Name of the action function is fun. When you call fun, invoke method will be called. I call fun is the name of the function. When I call this, what is running? Invoke. Still not completed, only half the functionality implemented. Let us see whether value of name is coming or not. Document dot get element by ID, PB, PBS, PB say 1, say 2. Value is not, you are unable to read the value. I, PBSI, PBSI. Let me put up. Page, form, page block section, section item 1, call me, on change, call me. Okay. Now it is not getting the result. Why? Because you're getting error message here. Look at this. Now enter the name and city. It is not going. It is not able to call it because we are throwing an error message. We are throwing an error message. What is the error message? Both the values are entered. Then only go for it. Let us see. Enter name and city first. Okay. So the validation rule is running. Now what is the next story that we need to get? What is the next story we want to get it? What is the next story we want to get it? Our next story is when you are calling the invoke, before calling the invoke, I want to set the value of name and city. Now, the value what you have taken name and city, these values I want to pass it to the Apex class. How to set the value of Apex class variable? Within the Apex action function, Apex param, name equal to name, assign to which variable? Value equal to, how you are taking Apex param, so whoever is invoking, they are invoking the value of name and city. Look at the story. Validation error. Now when both the values are entered, we are supposed to call fun. What is the value of fun? Name. Now look at the story. Apex param, name, assign to name, invoke, invoke, testing. Now it is unable to call the method from the Apex class. So till here it is running fine. So what is the name of the function we gave? Apex action function, name equal to fun, action equal to invoke, render PB. What is PB? This is the PB. The PB. Now, what is the value of result here? It is not, the mistake was value equal to, because when you are calling the Apex class has to set the value of result. It's not the JavaScript. So move back to the story. I've taken Satish. Hyderabad. Name Satish, city Hyderabad. Now what happened? Who called? When an event occurred, JavaScript is called. JavaScript made some validation rules. If everything is right, it is calling a fun. Fun is calling invoke function. Fun is calling invoke function. But before running that invoke function, I want some values to be set to the variables. Then what I have done? Apex param. Now, what is the difference that we are finding between action function and action support? Listen carefully. Event occurred, call Apex class. Event occurred, JavaScript is called, JavaScript is calling this concept is what? This concept is what? Where is that action support is defined? Input text. Right. Whereas the action function, so action function is defined outside. It can be called in multiple elements. I can call the action function in multiple elements. So the JavaScript I gave, what was that? Action function is defined separately. It can be called a number of times. Whereas the action support, it is defined only within the element. That is only for that particular element. Action support is defined within the element. It can be used only for that element. Whereas the action function defined outside, I can call that action function anywhere in the JavaScript. Action function can be called anywhere within the JavaScript. Is the flow is clear? On the element, event occurs, Apex class method, action support. On the element, event occurs, JavaScript. In the JavaScript, we are calling Apex class method. Sorry. The JavaScript also, we are not calling directly Apex class method. What we are doing? We are calling action function. Action function is calling is that was clear? People got the story. Everyone is comfortable with this. Got it, Amma? Everyone has followed this. Okay. So when is that action function? Write a validations. Still, in the client side, you want to perform some validation or logics. Then you want to call action support. Directly call it. Action function. You want to perform some client side logic. Then only you want to call the server side functionality. I hope you are good with this. Clear, Amma? Okay. Here we have the next story called action region. What is the next story? Action region. Action function, action support, action region. This is very commonly asked in interview questions, Amma. Listen carefully. Now, generally, I have a button like this. I have a button. When I click on a button, what will happen? Method is called. After the method is called, this will reload the page. If you don't want entire page to be reloaded, what we use? Only part of the page is loaded. This is also Ajax function. Asynchronous operation. We are dealing them parallel. Don't load entire page, load only part of the page. Okay. Is that was clear for everyone? When you click on the button, going to the Apex class is making some logic and it is supposed to reload entire page. I don't want entire page to be reloaded. I want only part of the page to be reloaded. Then we call it as re-render. We call it as a re-render, partial load. Now listen to the context carefully, Amma. Now listen to the context carefully. Listen to the context carefully. First, understand the theme, purpose of taking this. I have some data like this. I selected Hyderabad. When I selected the Hyderabad, automatically what happened was, based on the city, places has to come. When I selected Hyderabad, action support fired, immediately is going to call. Because based on the city, only places will come. Okay, so it is calling Apex method. When it call Apex method, we have method called call. Now within this call me method, what data is coming? Data called name equal to Satish. When you submit the button or invoke a Apex class method, when you submit the button or call Apex class method, we are getting the data like this. Now, do you have any intention of submitting the form? Do you have any intention of submitting the form? You don't want to submit the form. Your requirement is you want to send the value of city. Your requirement is send the value of city, get the value of places. But what is happening when any change occurs? You are trying to call apex class method. When you are calling an apex class method, entire data in the form is submitted to the apex class. Are you getting my point? When you are calling a method from apex class, entire data in the page is getting submitted. Boss, I don't have any intention of submitting entire data. I don't have any intention of submitting entire data. I don't have any intention of submitting entire data. I have an intention of submitting only city. Take the city value, get me the places, because the form is not yet filled. I don't, okay, but whenever you are calling in a method from apex class, entire form is submitted. Your intention is not to submit a form, your intention is to submit the value of a city. Your intention is not to submit the value of all the values in the form. Your intention is to submit only the value of a city. But whenever we call apex class method, entire data in the form is submitted to the server. Now I want to avoid it. Re-render is what? Don't refresh entire page. But now don't submit entire page. Now don't submit entire page. Don't submit entire page. You want to submit only part of the page. Don't submit entire page. Only submit the part of the page. Don't submit entire page. Only submit the part of the page. Then what will you do? We are going with the action region. We are going with the action region. If you put a action region here, we say this is action region. Any change that occurs in this region, only the data in the region will be submitted to server. Any change occurs in this region, it will not submit entire data, it will only submit the data in that region to the server. Generally, any change occurs, entire data will go to the server. Any change occurs, entire data will go to server. Any change occurs, entire data will go to server. But what is your requirement? Any change occurs, we don't want entire data to be submitted to the server. We want only a part of the data to be submitted to the server. Any change occurs, entire form will be submitted, but my intention is don't submit entire form, only submit part of the page. Then I have to put the data in the region. When you say action region, any change that occurs in the action region, entire data will be notified. Is that was clear? Okay. Let me put the story here. I'll give the complete example. Theme is clear? Is the theme is clear for everyone? I made a call. Okay, here I gave action support on change action. So whenever the change in the city occurs, whenever the city name occurs, whenever the city name occurs, whenever the city name changes, we are calling a invoke method. Just try to understand first, without action region, if I don't put a action region, what will happen? Let us see. City value modified. Whenever the value of city is modified, now what is happening? When the change occurred in the city, I am calling a method from Apex class. When you are calling a method from Apex class, what happened? Satish 1234 city. All the values in the form what I entered are submitted. Now, when the value of city modified, I asked you to call action support. When I call a action support, entire data in the form is going to the Apex class. That is how we got name equal to Satish, phone 1234, city Hyderabad. But boss, when the city changes, I don't want entire form to be submitted, only the value of the city to be submitted. Then what I will do? Put the city within Apex action region. I kept the city within the action region. So go back to the story again, same example. Only one thing I have kept, action region. Same data. What is the data? Name, null, phone, null, city, Hyderabad. Now I entered all the three values. You are able to see all the three values are entered. Now what is happening here? Name, null, phone, null, city, Hyderabad. As only the data in the city is submitted to, as the value of the city is submitted to. Are you clear about this? Are you clear about this? So when you are doing this, if I put anything in the action region, any change occurs in the action region. When I put everything in the action region, any change occurs in the action region, only the data in the action region will be submitted to Apex class. Is that was clear? Action region, action function, action support, action region. Still we have one more functionality called action polar. Action polar. So let us see how this action polar is going to work. We have a functionality called action polar. Let us see the example. See boss, this is very frequently asked interview based questions. Okay. Now, if the people are trying to ask anything in the result force, these are only questions. What are the people generally asked? A quick example. Then I have a simple example. We are just giving, whenever we call this value of count and result. Result is what? Current time plus 1. A simple straightaway example. action puller. Interval 5 seconds. For every 5 seconds, we want this action. We want this action to be called automatically for every 5 seconds. We want this action to be called. We want this action to be called for every 5 seconds. We want this action to be called for every 5 seconds. Okay, automatically. We want this action to be called automatically for every 5 seconds. We want this action to be called automatically for every 5 seconds. Have a preview. So look at this, count equal to 1. Automatically counter is increasing. Automatically count is increasing because I told for every 5 seconds the action should be incremented. Now counter equal to 2, count equal to 3, count equal to 4. It is increasing. Right? So if you want any action to be automatically invoked recursively for a particular interval of time, I'll go for action puller. I told 5 seconds. For every 5 seconds, invoke method will be called. If for every 5 seconds, the invoke method will be called. If you want any action to be invoked automatically, if you want any action to be invoked automatically, if you want any action to be invoked automatically, we'll go with the, if you want any action to be invoked automatically, then we go with action puller. Then we go with the action puller. Again, I repeat. If you want any action to be invoked automatically, if you want any action to be invoked automatically, then we go with action puller. If you want any action to be invoked automatically, then we go with action puller. Is that was clear? Right, boss? Okay. So that's all about this action function, action region, action puller, and action support. Now, all these will fall under AJAX functionality. Re-render, re-render, action function, action puller, action function, action puller, action support, action region. We have action status also. At the bottom, we will be getting right loading, fetching, processing. That's called status message. So, under AJAX functionality, so what you are going to get? We are going to get the functionalities of under AJAX functionality. We are going to get okay, re-render, render, re-render, rendered, okay, action support, action function, okay, action region, action puller, action status. Right, Amma? Now, all these AJAX functionalities are going to run asynchronously. All these are going to run asynchronously. All these are going to run asynchronously. When they are running asynchronously, the view state will not be maintained. The view state of this data will not be maintained. For any operation that is running asynchronously, the view state will not be maintained. I hope you are good. Okay, that's all from my end for the day. So tomorrow we'll go with writing a SQL queries and DMLs from the JavaScript. How to write a SQL queries, how to write a DMLs from the JavaScript. Using the JavaScript, how to write a SQLs and DMLs we'll be learning tomorrow. Right, Amma? Videos are pending. Today I'll upload them. They're just busy with some other activity.